This is the BEnergyAware Podcast. Hi, and welcome to BEnergyAware Podcast. I'm Bran, your host, and a highly sensitive person that spent years teaching others on how to overcome daily challenges. This podcast is for highly sensitive people and for anyone who wants to be a conscious, energy aware person that thrives in the world. Podcast episodes will be published weekly. The intention of this podcast is to talk about the day to day things that we face, to raise questions, and to bring in an energetic perspective into all our daily challenges. Why? So that we can really understand what is going on and to be able to make better decisions for ourselves. If we can make better decisions, it improves our confidence, it makes us trust ourselves more. I believe that everyone can raise their awareness and have a better insight into themselves and into the situations they face. Doing this can enable us to avoid the suffering that comes as a result of making bad decisions. For this episode, I'm using a recording from one of my live group calls where I talk about the importance of taking the time to feel into things before making any decisions. It's basically about how to make better decisions and about knowing how to act in your best interest. Yeah, but there's just one thing to mention. You're in charge. We are in charge. We are in charge of each and every situation, even when it looks like we're not, even when it feels like we're not. So, how much are we going to be true to ourselves in each and every moment? I mean, it's not a big deal if we do a little bit of, this and that, a little bit of, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but it can build up easily from small thing to a bigger thing, then another, oh, and then we're just too overwhelmed to even think about anything because we've just crossed ourselves, I guess. So, how to stop that? We could call this feeling into it. Before even saying that we're going to consider it, even. It's almost like claiming this sacred space, this time and space we created for ourselves, even if it's 5 seconds, of just allowing ourselves to feel into it before we start thinking. If we can do that each and every time, that would in itself solve the problem and even unravel all those past mistakes, we can call them, or crossing our own boundaries. So we would be able to correct the past and act in our best interest in the present. Acting in our best interest. Again, what that feels like, what that looks like, and again, what it feels like and what it looks like, and to have the discernment to stop before making decisions and feeling into it. And then all else can come into play. If we get angry, we can easily express it. If it doesn't feel right, we can just say, well, this doesn't feel, or I don't feel called to do this, or whatever. But everything else comes after this first, stopping and feeling into it, and then making that decision afterwards. It's about allowing ourselves to do that for ourselves. And we can do that in any given moment. There's not a situation, anytime, any day, where we need to, even if they say, you have 3 seconds. No, I have more. I have as much as I give myself. So this is something that we need to be aware that we have the freedom to do that for ourselves. And that we can allow that, and that's putting ourselves first. That's true self first, and caring for ourselves and meeting our own needs and seeing if doing this will benefit us or not. Does it feel good? Doesn't that maybe it doesn't feel good? Anyway, just taking that time is important. Of course, We all know that it's good to stop and think before making a decision. We all know that it's good to take the time that's needed, especially before making any major decisions. The question would be, why don't we do it? Why don't we always take the time to really see how we feel about something before making that decision? Why don't we make an extra effort to take that time, especially when someone is trying to pressure us into making an instant decision? Why do we give in to that pressure? Do we think that we have no choice? Or that there is just one option? Are we scared that we're going to pass up on a one-time opportunity or that we're never going to get a better one? What drives our behavior in moments like these? This is where the energetic perspective answers most of these questions and gives us a clearer picture. For example, whenever I'm faced with any situation or when I'm being offered an opportunity and need to make a decision about it, I stop and look at 4 different things. First, I tune into the energy of the opportunity that's being presented. Then I tune into the energy of the person that's presenting it, or the energy of the people that it is tied to. Then I tune into the energy of the possible outcome of that opportunity in the case of me saying yes. And of course, I also tune into how I feel about it, meaning I tune into my own energy and see if I'm restless or composed. If I find that I'm restless, I normally delay the decision until I'm settled and more peaceful and centered. And then I take the time to really feel into it. But what if this really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I've now missed out on it because I delayed my decision and didn't give an answer right away, and now this opportunity is gone? In my experience, whenever I made any decisions from a peaceful, centered place and took the time to really feel into it, and then said, "No, thank you," I found that another, even better opportunity eventually came along. Because I honored myself and held for the best for myself and took that time, I got rewarded. So, in general, if we have any questions that need answering, we can always tune into the energy of things to get a precise answer. For any answers about why we wouldn't take the time to feel into things before making any decisions, we need to tune into the energies that were surfacing in those moments when we found ourselves restless and in reaction. This provides a lot of insight into what was going on and why it was going on. Try it for yourself to see how it works. And now I have a question for you. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt pressured about making a decision in the moment and felt scared to pass up on a certain opportunity? What did you decide, and how did that work out for you? Feel free to share it with me. Message me on Instagram at BEnergyAware or through my website BEnergyAware.com. I've included links to both in the description of this episode. That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening. Next episode coming in a week from now. Stay tuned and please subscribe and share this with your friends and with anyone that you feel might benefit from listening. Thanks again and talk to you soon.